Dean E. Smith spent 36 seasons taking college basketball to new heights. He led his team to 11 Final Fours, 2 national titles, and 879 victories, retiring as the winningest men's college basketball coach in history. Dean Smith brought the same commitment to supporting his players off the court. He helped more than 96% of his lettermen graduate, and in an era of deep division, he taught players to overcome bigotry with courage and compassion. He will forever stand as one of the greatest coaches in college basketball history.
When you think of Coach Smith, you do think of the basketball coach. You think of the leader of young men, but that's not all he was. And what he stood for is far more important than what he taught them about the game of basketball.
We also honor his courage in helping to change our country. He recruited the first black scholarship athlete to North Carolina and helped integrate a restaurant and a neighborhood in Chapel Hill.
He decided to have a little quiet sit-in at the Pines restaurant because there was concern they wouldn't serve blacks in that restaurant, especially black students. And he and Dr. Robert Seymour went there, and he didn't have to do that, but it was also a very high-risk act on his part because he was not the famous Dean Smith at that time.
His concern for each and every person was at such a high level, it was off the charts every day, whether it was about our players, even more importantly about the former players, even more importantly about anyone that was struggling a little bit. That was the specialness of Dean Smith. It wasn't shooting a jump shot or getting a rebound.
That's the kind of character that he represented on and off the court.
It was Coach Dean Smith who set the standard that other coaches now find so easy to follow.
This is not about basketball. This is not about what the players did for you. This is about what you did for humanity.
And I just find him certainly to be more than deserving of the honors that have been bestowed upon him because he is a man of courage and a man of principle and a person who sets a very high standard for himself and for those around him.
That's a big-time family, and he's the ornament on the top of that family.
Tonight, we recognize Coach Smith and his family. Joining Tar Heels All-American Phil Ford and Eric Montross are Coach Smith's wife, Linnea, his children and grandchildren, Sandy Combs, Scott Smith, Kristen Smith, Kelly Kemple, Brian Smith, Morgan Smith, Luke Combs, and Megan Kepley-Vesser. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear a round of applause for the 1978 National Player of the Year, Mr. Phil Ford.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The first time Coach Smith came to Rocky Mount to visit me in the 12th grade, my mom sat in on the visit, and that was something that she didn't usually do. And I guess for the first 30 minutes, we didn't talk about basketball at all. We talked about being a good student, race relations, being a good citizen, just different things. And when we finally got into the subject of basketball, it came up that Coach Smith said, Phil, you may have to play JV basketball. And I went, whoa, 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 whoa. I grew up a Carolina fan, but I don't know. But after he had left, and I said my mom wasn't a big basketball fan, she came into my room, just me and her, and she said, Phil Jr., I think that man really likes you, and I think you can trust him. And I said, what are you talking about, Mom? She said, well, if you go to North Carolina and have to play JV, there's a reason. All of these other coaches are coming in here telling you how much you'll play, and some of them even saying that you'll start. They know you've had some success as a high school player, but they don't know how you're going to be as a college player. And if you go there your sophomore year, work hard, go there your junior year, work hard, and then you become a senior and you have a chance to start, then you can be assured that he won't be out promising another high school All-American your starting position. Well, as it turned out, I didn't have a coach for 4 years. I had a friend for life. And I'm just honored to have played for the greatest coach to ever coach basketball.
Ladies and gentlemen, the starting center on the 1993 national champions, Mr. Eric Montross.
You know, I first met Coach Smith when I was a high school recruit in 1988 in Indiana. And 25 years later, more impressive to me than all the on-court successes that he has had is the indelible mark that he has left on our society. As a respected leader in our community, he stood tall for what was right, and he garnered respect for it. And although he was lauded many times for his efforts in the community, he was shy to accept this praise because he knew that there was only one stance that he could take, and that was the one that was morally correct. Coach used the game of basketball as a vehicle to carry the message of humanity onto a national stage. And though he delivered his message publicly, it was a very personal one that he delivered to all of us. He encouraged us to find something that we were passionate about outside of the game of basketball, and to take the same dedication that we had given to our sport and give it to that cause. It was evident then that our lives should be more than just about the game here on this court. He designed experiences to give us a broader sense of who we were and the world that we lived in. Trips to Butner Prison, where we practiced in front of some of the most forgotten members of our society. Trips to children's hospitals around the country brought us face to face with the very spirit that made this game so passionate and so wonderful. Leaders are unique in how they convey their beliefs. Coach Smith led by example. And ladies and gentlemen, we are better for having been led by this great man.
Thank you, Phil and Eric. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Linnea Smith.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the athletic department for this special tribute time. I'd like to thank Phil and Eric, who always have such heartwarming words for Coach Smith and our family. It's difficult to speak for Dean, but I know he would be deeply, deeply honored and very humbled by this award. And one of the first things he would do would single out his players through the years, his coaching staff through the years, who are so important not only to his work but to his life. One of the meanings of this award is sharing it with the 15 recipients this year and the many recipients through the 50-year history. And he would want to share it with all of you. I know you're sharing it with him. We're aware that there's been an outpouring of support and caring concern and best wishes from so many people in North Carolina and beyond, but especially from those who believe in the mission of the University of North Carolina and its fans and its alumni. We're deeply grateful for your support, and I think we all can share in the meaning of the Medal of Freedom. We are free to imagine, we are free to hope, and we can recommit and continue our work to help other people and to make positive social change. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Smith could not be with us tonight, but please join the University of North Carolina in showing his family the love and appreciation for the one and only, the man we love very much, our dear coach, Coach Dean Smith, and what he means to the Tar Heels around the globe.